We had this emailed in to us, and it is anonymous, and we're just going to get into this. So, the poster says, "Am I reasonable or ridiculous?" So, yesterday I was out and left my boyfriend with the kids for just over an hour, and when I got home, he told my youngest daughter that she wasn't going to gymnastics due to her behaviour. However, the youngest has suspected ADHD and masks so much at school that when she comes home and is asked to do something like clean her room, she has a meltdown. He asked her to do this as soon as she came home. My argument was that if he actually sits in the room whilst they tidy it, it seems less overwhelming for her and wouldn't result in the meltdown. But also, why not take the iPad first, as we pay a lot of money for her to go to gymnastics? He then left her at home with me whilst he took my eldest daughter, knowing full well I would then have to deal with her meltdown that he caused. Let me know what you think.
Okay. Just touching on the being with her with obviously suspect the ADHD, I do understand about body doubling. It is very helpful.
Yeah.
To help somebody get a task done who is with ADHD.
Yeah.
I also feel like kids never want to tidy their room. Many kids don't want to tidy their room, so it's always an uphill battle with it when it coming down to tidying the room. So I mean, yes, all right. We're doing it right when they get home. Obviously, if you're on a time crunch, because obviously they're going to gymnastics later on, you kind of want to get it done. So threatening them with something that they enjoy doing, as she said, could have been the iPad or the tablet. But I feel like at that moment, there's only a limited amount of time they would have that iPad anyway.
Yeah.
And the biggest sort of reward of the day is the gymnastics. So I can understand where the father's coming from. It's like, well, you just won't go to gymnastics then.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't tidy your room, you're not going. Simple as. Because for a lot of people, that would be enough of an incentive to be like, well, I still want to do that, so I better go do what I've been asked.
Mm.
So I completely get where the father's coming from in that regard. Could he have body doubled? Again, I think it depends what he had to get done.
Yeah.
In that space of time. Truthfully, yeah, it's one of those. I mean, you gotta understand. Like, you gotta do your best to understand how ADHD affects a child and so on and so forth, and how difficult it is for them to focus on a task. And I do get that, but also I feel like it's important not to overcompensate. It's like you don't want to. Obviously, body doubling, great, and very effective. Do that if you can. But at the same time, I find, like you don't want to treat a child too differently. Otherwise, they might start playing on it a lot more. Truthfully, I do agree. Maybe something lesser as a punishment rather than losing gymnastics.
So, like she said, like the iPad.
Yeah, could have done better in that regard, and it might have actually been more effective because kids seem to love tablets these days a lot.
Yeah, it's like we do that with Dominic though, don't we? We if he's not doing what he's told or he's being rude or he's not listening, we take the iPad away. Would I stop him going scouts? No, I would use the iPad first and the PlayStation, like whatever electronics. I think I would go for first.
I think I'd go for them first, but if that kid was still acting up, and not like if Dominic was still at that point acting up and being difficult and was just not showing any signs of behaving or doing as I've asked him to, then I probably would threaten scouts, and I'd be like, look, if you're not going to behave, then you're just not going to go. For instance, when we were at scouts and he was, acting a little bit off and didn't want to participate, and that we said to him, like, well, if you're not going to participate, you're just not going to come back.
Yeah.
There's no point you being here if you're not going to get involved. Similar sort of thing. Obviously, if the kid was still misbehaving and not doing as they were told, then yeah, I would threaten something bigger and more valuable to them in hopes that would encourage them to do it. And then I think at that point, once you've made that threat or that condition,
yeah,
not so much a threat, it's more of a condition. Like if you don't do this, you're not doing that. Then you kind of have to follow through with that, because if you don't follow through with that, the kid just thinks, oh well, you say you're going to take stuff away from me, but you actually don't. So I'll just do what I want then.
Yeah.
So I get the aspect of the dad following through with that. with the whole, not allowing the child to go to gymnastics. Um, if it was me and you in that situation, I probably would have sent you with the eldest to gymnastics. Obviously, knowing full well there'd be a meltdown. So I'm assuming the mother was in no position to take the child, but if they were, then why wasn't that the way?
Yeah,
As
I
it
was going to
went?
say that to you. I was literally waiting for you to finish, and I was going to say if the mother was able to take the oldest so that she didn't have to deal with the meltdown that the father created,
Mm-hmm.
then that should have been the way. But if she had to be at home
Mm-hmm.
with the youngest having the meltdown and the dad obviously taking the eldest, I don't see how that could have worked any differently.
No.
So whilst the dad may have caused the meltdown, if there was no other way, she
I
would have had
mean,
to
I
have dealt
suppose
with
that
it.
the dad could have taken the youngest too,
Oh, I
but
think
then
that's so mean, though.
I think that would have been a lot harder on the youngest. I think
Yeah, I think that's
leaving
out of
them,
order, me, in my opinion.
yeah, I think leaving them at home would probably have been the best thing. It's unfortunate on the mother at that point that she had to deal with the meltdown.
Yeah,
But at the same time, parenting together, obviously you need to come from a unified front against children because otherwise they just start playing you off of each other,
yeah.
and it's
Dominic's done it with us.
it's a nightmare. When I tell him no to something and then he runs off to you and you go, yeah, sure, that's not a problem, and they're like, I've just told him no to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously the situation is a very interesting one. It's obviously quite dynamic. There's quite a lot going on there.
But it must be hard having a child with suspected ADHD because you have ADHD, so it's you understand it a lot more. I mean, I don't think I have ADHD. I have some traits, but I also have borderline personality disorder, and they overlap quite a lot. But I can just get if I need to clean. Obviously, if I'm depressed or anxious or for whatever reason, I will not tidy. If I feel like I can't, I just won't. In fact, at the back room, how many times have I had that upside down, and it's completely messy, and then I've gone, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do this. A child can't figure out that they need to do, or they could try doing a small section first, trying that, and then, or timing yourself. So give yourself 5 minutes in one corner. A child can't do that. I mean, I don't know how old the children are, but
that's another good tactic is make it a challenge, like a game.
yeah.
So be like, oh, I bet you can't tidy, say, that desk up over there in 10 minutes. I bet you can't do it. And shove a timer on. Put them against the clock. That makes them go, but I want to beat that timer.
Yeah.
And that can add some fun into tidying rather than just have it be a chore. Because chores, for me, when I know something is a chore, it's so hard to motivate sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like, as I say, body doubling helps. Like when you're up and about cleaning, and
Yeah.
I've been crashed out on the couch because I'm just in
Yeah.
that point where I can't motivate, and I see you cleaning. 9 times out of 10, I'll get up and I'll come and help because I'm there like, okay, I need to help.
Yeah.
I can't allow you to do this.
It's slightly off topic to what has been sent in, but with the body doubling. So this will not work for children. I don't think it's a kids app, and I don't recommend kids using it because I've not used it, but I do know about it, and it's where you can download an app, and I believe it's Rocks. She has her own page, the ADHD the singer, and I think she designed it. I think, and they all get on at a certain time, and they're all on camera together, and they're all cleaning. And I think that is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's smart.
I will try and find what the app's called and link it down below as well, because I think that would be very helpful if you're struggling. I don't even think you need to have ADHD. I think that would go for anyone struggling like with motivation and stuff like that. I think that would really work. I've been tempted to try it myself, but at the same time, I'm like, no, just no. But getting back to this, because the kids can't use the app, the adults should be, like you said, the one that they can go to and be like,
definitely try and understand like how to make things more fun.
Yeah.
How to help them kids motivate themselves to do things. I say making things a fun game.
I think when they're kids, you have to make it more fun.
Yes, definitely. Body doubling is very helpful, but it's not always a guarantee. Sometimes even when there's body doubling, if a child is already overwhelmed, And yes, all right, body doubling does help 9 times out of 10. If they're already overwhelmed, they're going to have a hard time doing anything. You
Yeah.
know, if they're already in that state of it's too much, then you can have a hard time pulling them out of that. Maybe even just starting bits and pieces for them and then trying to get them involved might be a better way. Again, I don't know what the time crunch was on the dad in that regard. They might have had something else to do. You know, I imagine there
Because
was
when,
other bits and pieces to get done.
like on a Tuesday, like for us, we know that time's limited when he finishes school because he has other activities. So he, in his situation, he actually wouldn't, because he does extra activities and he starts his new ones next week. So from the time he gets home to the time he has to go elsewhere, he wouldn't actually have time to tidy his room,
No.
I don't think. And then it's like with me, I wouldn't be able to sit with him because I'm like, right, I need to get some food made before you leave because I need to make sure you've eaten. So you've got your energy for your next activity. So that wouldn't work for us. I don't know about them, whether they'd have the time.
In that regard, I think for us on a Tuesday, obviously we know that time is very, very limited. You know, you could ask him to go tidy his room, and if he out and out refused, you could potentially threaten to take something away from him. Or you could just say, do you know what, never mind then. When you get home, that's the thing you're doing. Until you've done that, you're not going on your tablet, you're not going on your PlayStation, you're not doing anything fun. You're going to go do that.
Yeah.
And at least
he could have done it after. I don't think coming straight home from school. If I get the masking because I mask a lot when I'm outside, when I'm around people, especially family. But then when I come home, you felt the brunt of me unmasking, I suppose. And it is hard.
I know masking for ADHD is surprisingly exhausting.
Yeah, I can imagine it is, because I imagine it takes a lot of energy because you're having to act normal, let's say, outside, and then when you come in, you're tired, but you also need to unleash all of that you've been holding in all day. And I've seen it with you sometimes, like, we'll be out, you're around people, you're absolutely fine, you wouldn't think there was anything wrong with you, and you come home and I'm like, who gave you sweets? You know?
Yes.
So I do get that. I do get it. And I think, I mean, I'm not diagnosed ADHD. I don't think I have ADHD, but I've seen you. I don't have a lot of experience with ADHD, again, only from yourself. So I think you would need to understand ADHD to be in this mum's situation, because I imagine she understands it completely.
Yeah.
And maybe the dad just doesn't see it.
Again, women are always more compassionate and understanding than men are.
I think men are a lot like, just get on with it, just do as you're told, get it done.
Yes.
We're a lot more sympathetic, I think. I can't speak for all men or all women, mums, dads. I'm not doing that. But I think that's because, like, women tend to have that natural motherly instinct. So we are
they're more nurturing.
Yeah.
Men are less nurturing. They're more like, just get it done.
So I don't think she's being ridiculous. I think she is being very reasonable. Yeah. And, you know, at the bottom, she does say that she has sorted it, which is wonderful.
That's good. But
she wanted to know what we thought. And as always with relationships and children and everything, communication is absolutely vital.
Yeah, it really is. And my only suggestion is, you know, if these things are happening and you are unhappy with the way things were handled, just sit down with your partner. Just talk about it. You know, as it sounds like they have done. Try and keep as much emotion out of that discussion as possible, because, you know, you don't want to get into another shouting match, you know what I mean, or get angry with each other and have an argument, and then you're now arguing about the thing you argued about rather than actually resolving anything. So just sit down, have a mature, calm discussion and be like, look, I think, you know, this situation could have been handled better.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
but I'm so pleased that they sorted it out.
Yeah, somehow. At least it's got a happy ending to that one rather than...
Yeah, we know how that ended. Yeah. It ended fine, like it's sorted, but she wanted to know, obviously, our opinions, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, you're not being ridiculous. We see it from both sides. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, just keep doing what you're doing
and remain united.
Yes, especially when you have kids.
Yes,
be united. Don't let the little rat fall over you. Don't do it.
Definitely the most important thing about any situation like that is that you resolve it and you things better and you make things right, and
Yeah.
that's what makes you stronger.
Yeah.